hasn't done for the nation and what he still needs to do?
Well, of course, I think that the big one that everyone's watching for this evening is the ticking time bomb on the balance sheet of South Africa, and that's Eskom. We bailed it out, 59 billion rand last year. That crowded out a lot of expenditure that should have gone to nurses, doctors, policemen and women and teachers, but instead it was used to bail out Eskom. So the President's got to announce deep reforms to get South Africa out of the nosedive that we're currently in and onto a new trajectory of growth and prosperity. Doing the same old things again, appealing to hope. Hope is not a strategy. He needs to set out concrete steps about how he's going to deal with each of these things. How are we going to get young people back to work? How are we going to attract jobs to get the 10.4 million people in the country who don't have work into a job opportunity? How are we going to fix the broken infrastructure at a municipal level? How are we going to keep people safe in their homes and on their streets? So these all require clear, concrete action plans. The President has a choice tonight. He can put his party first or he can put the country first. And I think that if he doesn't put the country first, continues to pander to the faction in his own party who are opposed to his reform agenda and doesn't back his finance minister and those in his own cabinet who are calling for these reforms, I think he's going to be left horribly exposed and in a very, very difficult situation. Going to make his economic turnaround strategy virtually unimplementable, and it's going to make it very, very difficult to bring the change that the country needs.
John, yesterday you had an alternative State of the Nation address, of course, speaking to the issues that the DA would like to address, and you crisscrossed the country speaking to South Africans about what the DA can afford South Africans if it were to take that leadership position. Can you just interest us in what you were actually sharing with South Africans?
Well, what we're sharing with them is how you can build capable local government that actually delivers services to people, and where we've governed, whether it's here in Cape Town, whether it's Midvaal in Gauteng or in Tshwane, Johannesburg or Nelson Mandela Bay, we've been able to roll out those services in a far more efficient and effective way and bring dignity to the lives of those people. We've been able to get those economies moving in those municipalities, and we've told people there is a link between how you vote and how you live, and your vote is your most important way of taking back your power from a government that hasn't earned your trust, and making sure that you can give it to somebody else. And so there can be a change in South Africa, but people have got to vote for that change.
So the President last year announced the 7 key priorities that he wanted to focus on. And if you were to track the time he announced the focus on these 7 key priorities to where we are today, would you say the President has been able to keep up with some of the promises that he announced at the State of the Nation address?
No, I don't. And I think that was the criticism of last year. So it was that there was no timelines against which to measure it. But certainly if one looks at jobs, that's always a key indicator. Since President Ramaphosa's taken office, we've lost jobs. Since he's taken office, the economy has shrunk. It has not grown. We still don't have any senior politicians sitting behind bars for corruption. Yes, we've had the Zondo Commission, but it's yet to result in a single high-level prosecution where someone who's stolen money from the people of South Africa goes to jail. We still don't have a plan to combat violent crime, and particularly gender-based violence. The markers and numbers of gender-based violence have not improved. They've got worse. We're not meeting these key challenges, and the reason we're not meeting them is because there is no plan of action. Announcing virtuous ends and these wonderful dreams about bullet trains and these fancy new cities isn't going to cut it. You need to actually have a plan of action that leads you every step of the way to achieving those dreams. If he doesn't set those out tonight, he's going to continue to stand in the middle of the road. He's either going to get run down by an economy that's spiraling out of control, or run down by the faction in his own party that's holding those reforms back.
Thank you very much. The interim leader of the Democratic Alliance in Parliament, John Steenhuisen. Of course, a lot of expectations coming out from different political parties here in Parliament before President Cyril Ramaphosa addresses the nation. For Newsroom Africa on Channel 405, I'm Tim Tongana in Parliament.